Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. OhSheReads here, and in today's video I'm going to be doing my June book haul. So we might as well just go ahead and get started. I have about, I want to say 12 books to show you all. So I just want to go ahead and say that this book haul does include a lot of the new releases that came out in June, so that's a perk for you guys if you're interested, and all of the books in this particular book haul are young adult. So let's just go ahead and dive right in. First up, I have a book that is a June new release by one of my favorite young adult authors. I've loved her ever since I was a young adult myself, and that is Once and For All by Sarah Dessen. This is her latest release, and this book takes place in a smallish town. We have a girl named Luna, or Launa. I could never quite get how to pronounce her name. I kind of looked it up when I was reading the book, and I believe that there's a, mini pronunciation guide while you're reading. The character herself, I think, tells you how her name is pronounced, but it's spelled L-O-U-N-A. And she basically is this young girl, and she helps her mom out with her wedding planning business that her mom runs with her gay best friend. And her mom's kind of a commitment phobe, and so is the gay best friend, and they run this really successful wedding planning business. They're super well known and highly coveted in their area. Like, everybody wants her mom's business to plan their wedding, basically. And so she works for her mom's wedding planning business as a way to learn the business, but at the same time she has a lot of disdain for the business itself, and she has a lot of skepticism about love. She's very jaded. They all are. Her mom, and her mom's gay best friend, they're all very jaded about love, about weddings. They've seen it all. And so this book just kind of follows her through one summer where she's helping her mom out as usual, and then this boy comes into her life that kind of turns everything upside down, and he sort of challenges her and her beliefs. And his name is Ambrose. He kind of comes from another perspective and another lifestyle. He comes from a wealthy family, and he's sort of known as like the screw up. He's always like jovial and joking, and everyone thinks that he doesn't take anything too seriously, which he doesn't. And he's sort of the opposite of Launa. We'll just go with Launa. She's very commitment phobic and doesn't really believe in relationships, and he's in and out of relationships, sometimes dating 2 or 3 girls at a time, which, believe me, that definitely has some interesting scenes in the book. There's one particular scene where he gets caught with 2 girls, and I will say no more, you have to read it. But I found this latest release by Sarah Dessen to be light, funny, but also had some deeper moments. I enjoyed the themes of like commitment and love, and just how jaded people can be in today's society, especially in the wedding planning business. You wouldn't think that they would be jaded, but if you think about it, her mom was planning some people's like 2nd or 3rd weddings, and they would actually make bets on how long they thought the weddings, or the marriages rather, would last. So yeah, I really enjoyed this read. I read it fairly early this month, like very beginning of the month, so I will definitely include this in my wrap up and tell you guys more details on what I thought. Next up, I have a book that caught my eye just while I was browsing through Amazon, and this one is The 100th Queen by Emily R. King. And I really enjoyed this. I actually just finished reading this today. It's currently Saturday, June 24th, and I just finished this and I absolutely loved it. It's a series, so the second book comes out September, and then the final book comes out either at the end of the year or the beginning of next year. I don't remember. But I've already pre-ordered the other 2, and I'm definitely looking forward to see what else happens. I highly recommend this book. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars, but I keep mixing up this haul with a wrap-up video, so I need to save my reviews for that. Basically, this book is about a young orphan girl. This takes place in a fantasy world, by the way, and I would say this world is a mixture between like Indian culture, Middle Eastern culture, yeah, just a lot of mixtures, maybe even Egyptian culture. It's really interesting, but basically it's about this young girl who's been orphaned at this monastery type place where she's been basically dedicated her whole life to the sisterhood and to basically serving the gods, except what happens is every once in a while certain royalty, or certain, I guess, I'm trying to think of the right word, people of a higher social status, I guess you could say, will come to the I want to say it's like a monastery, but a sanctuary type place, and it's all like a sisterhood, and then they have like the equivalent of one for like men, that would be like a brotherhood. But basically, once in a while, people of a higher social class, kings, deities, very wealthy people, men, will come and claim one of these women as their wives. So you have all these young girls being brought up by these sisters to serve God and being taught, you know, their religion, and they believe in all these different gods, and being taught the virtues of what it means to be a dutiful young girl who loves their gods and, you know, believes in all of these tenets of their faith. And then once in a while, these rich dudes basically come through and inspect all of them and may choose one of them for a wife. And so that's kind of the situation that our main character in this novel is put in. And you guessed it, there's a visit. But a visit from the tyrant Raja Tariq disrupts Kalinda's life. That's our main character, Kalinda. Within hours, she is ripped from the comfort of her home, set on a desert trek in order to fight for her place among the Raja's 99 wives and numerous courtesans. Her only solace comes in the company of her guard, the stoic but kind Captain Devon Naik. So basically, she gets chosen to be the king's 100th wife, and this kind of sends her on a different path than what she thought she was destined for. She was really convinced that her destiny was to serve the gods for the rest of her life in this sisterhood monastery type place, and things definitely take a turn, and she basically has to contend with all these new challenges that are going to come her way. I love this book. I don't want to talk about it anymore, so we'll just move on. And I promise you I'll have a way better synopsis in my wrap-up. I'm just very frazzled right now. I just came home from work and I just really wanted to film this for you guys, so bear with me. I'm gonna speed this up too. Next book I have here is Certain Dark Things, and this is by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. And I don't remember who I saw like mention this book, but I think I was watching like a BookTube YouTube video, and someone mentioned this book, and what they said about it really intrigued me, so I ran and added it to my cart on Amazon, as you do. And so I just know that it has something to do with vampires, and it's like a different take on the vampire myth, which I love books about vampires, you guys. That is like my thing. And basically it says in the dust jacket that welcome to Mexico City, an oasis in a sea of vampires. Domingo, a lonely garbage collecting street kid, is busy eking out a living when a jaded vampire on the run swoops into his life. I don't know how to say these names, you guys. It's spelled A-T-L, Atl. The descendant of Aztec blood drinkers must feast on the young to survive, and Domingo looks especially tasty. Smart, beautiful, and dangerous, Atl needs to escape to South America, far from the rival narco-vampire clan pursuing her. Her plan doesn't include developing any real attachment to Domingo. Hell, the only living creature she loves is her trusty Doberman. Little by little, Atl finds herself warming up to the scrappy young man and his effervescent charm. And then there's Anna, a cop who suddenly finds herself following a trail of corpses and winds up smack in the middle of vampire gang rivalries. Vampires, humans, cops, and gangsters collide in the dark streets of Mexico City. Do Atl and Domingo even stand a chance of making it out alive? Ooh, yes, honey, I'm all for this. Next up, I have American Street by E.B. Zoboy, and Zoboy, I think that's how you say her name. And I just am always on the lookout for diverse reads, so I had to grab this. I haven't heard a lot about this book on BookTube, but I definitely plan on reading it super soon. The dust jacket says, on the corner of American Street and Joy Road, Fabiola Toussaint thought she would finally find une belle vie, a good life. I can't speak French to save my life. But after they leave Port-au-Prince, Haiti, Fabiola's mother is detained by U.S. immigration, leaving Fabiola to navigate her loud American cousins, Chantal, Donna, and Princess, the greediness of Detroit's West Side, a new school, and a surprising romance, all on her own. Just as she finds her footing in this strange new world, a dangerous proposition presents itself, and Fabiola, I think that's how you pronounce her name, these names, soon realizes that freedom comes at a cost. Trapped at the crossroads of an impossible choice, will she pay the price for the American dream? So this is a debut novel. Ooh, that's awesome. And the author is also a young Haitian immigrant. That is amazing. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Oh, infusing this lyrical exploration of America with magical realism and voodoo culture. I'm so excited. Many of you, maybe some, I don't know, may know, but I am participating in Camp NaNoWriMo this year, the July session, and my novel that I'll be working on incorporates magical realism. So I'm super excited to read this. I may not read it in July just because I don't want like this author's use of magical realism to like bleed into my brain and then I kind of start doing the same thing. So I might wait on this a bit, but I'm super excited to read this. Next up is a book that I absolutely adored. I read it a few days ago. I read it on Thursday, the 22nd of June, and loved it. And that is When Dimple Met Rishi. And this one is by Sandhya Menon. And oh my goodness, this is definitely one of my favorite reads of the year so far. So good. Absolutely adored it. I'm filming. What have you done? I only have like 42% battery left, so I ain't got time. Absolutely adored this read. I recommend this to everybody. I will talk about it more in my wrap-up. This is basically so amazing. It's about a girl named Dimple Shaw. There we go. And she's basically not feeling like she fits in with her family and with her culture. Her parents are very traditional and they kind of want her to start thinking about marriage, and she's just wanting to think about her career. She's just finished high school and she's about to go to college. She was accepted at Stanford and she really wants to go to this technology camp. She is a coder, which I love. I love to see girls in tech, and I feel like there aren't very many. I don't think I've ever actually read a YA novel about a girl in tech, and even better, an Indian girl in tech. I've never seen this before. So this was really great. And basically what ends up happening is her family has kind of set her up with this guy from a family that they're friends with, and she has no clue. And this guy's name is Rishi Patel, and he's also going to this camp to meet her. And Rishi's the complete opposite of her. She's very feminist, forward-thinking, focused on her career, very frustrated with her parents that they don't seem to get her, and they're just so marriage-minded and traditional. And then you have Rishi Patel, who is very traditional. He's the firstborn son, and all he wants to do is follow in his parents' footsteps, and they had an arranged marriage, and he just wants to be the dutiful first son, and he adores his culture, and he thinks the traditions of his culture are extremely important, and he places his family and his family's wishes and his parents above everything else, even above his own wishes. So it was so cool to see the flip and seeing that the boy in the story is the one wanting like the relationship and wanting a wife even at freaking 17, 18 years old. And it was cool to see a girl being career-minded, a girl in tech, a coder. It was so cool. And so I really enjoyed this. I will talk about this in my wrap-up. I feel like this has become a wrap-up video. I'm so sorry. We have our Dark Duet by Victoria Schwab, and this is the sequel to another book that I got by her that I haven't read yet, right? What is this a sequel to? Or is this the first in a series? No, this is a sequel to This Savage Song, and I believe this is a new series. Honestly, I'm so out of touch because I pre-ordered This Savage Song as well. Still haven't read it. Now this book has come, haven't read it. Don't know when I will read it. Just know I really like Victoria Schwab, and I want to pretty much collect her writing or her novels, so that's what I'm doing. And I couldn't tell you what this is about because I haven't read the first one. I just know it's about monsters. A book by Cami Garcia, and this one is The Lovely Reckless. And I believe I talked about this video in my most anticipated releases for 2000, was it for fall? 2000, actually it was my most anticipated releases for fall of last year. So I never actually got a chance to get it at that time, so I finally got it for this month. And I do give a synopsis of this book in that video, so I will definitely link that video right now if you're interested. I'm just trying to speed this along, so yeah. A very popular book, and I'm so excited that it is so popular because it is a diverse book, but it's also so relevant to the time that we're living in and what's going on currently in our nation. But this is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. I actually have the audiobook and I wanted to listen to it, but then I decided I actually also wanted to have the physical book. So for those of you who don't know, this is definitely centering around police brutality and the killing of black men by police. And the main character in this novel witnesses her best friend, I believe, being killed by a police officer. And yes, her childhood best friend, and things kind of spiral out of control from there. So I definitely wanted to get my hands on a physical copy of this and not just the audiobook, because I do feel that this is a very important book. Those who have read it here on BookTube have raved, and I also feel like the people that I've seen reviewing it have been the white booktubers, and so for them a lot of it is very eye-opening. So I might watch some reviews from some black and other people of color, other booktubers of color, just to see what their thoughts are, because it's different when this is your reality, so you just have a different perspective. But anyways, I thought I should add it to my collection. Next one is a book I've already read, and this is Ramona Blue by Julie Murphy, who also wrote Dumplin', which I do own but haven't read yet. Dumplin' is actually being made into a movie. Fun fact. But yes, Ramona Blue was excellent. Another book that's definitely going on my list of favorites for the year so far. This book is about a young girl named Ramona. She's super tall, over 6 feet, and has blue hair and is very secure in herself. She knows exactly who she is. She is part of the LGBTQ community and has classified herself as a lesbian. Her merry band of friends includes a gay man and his twin sister who is a lesbian, as well as her sister who is pregnant. And you find that shortly after the book starts, so it's not really a spoiler. But her older sister is kind of her best friend and her everything in her life. She has grown up on the wrong side of the tracks, and her life kind of took a turn after Hurricane Katrina completely destroyed her family's home. Shortly afterwards, her mother left and her father was left to raise these two girls on his own. They live in a trailer park and in a trailer that is falling apart, and Ramona is just going through such a transformation in this book. She definitely transforms into this beautiful butterfly. She actually comes back into contact with her childhood friend, an African-American boy by the name of Freddie. And Freddie and was being raised at the time by his grandparents, and she lives in a kind of like a town that's like a vacation destination. So Freddie would come every summer with his grandparents, and they became best friends. And then all of a sudden, one summer, Freddie just didn't come back, and she didn't see him for years, and now they're back in town. And so she reconnects with Freddie, and she becomes best friends with him again, and then she starts to develop feelings for Freddie, which makes her very confused about her sexuality because she thought that she identified as a lesbian. So you have a lot of questions in this novel. You have so much diversity. It's amazing. It's amazing. Oh my god, this is diversity done right by a Caucasian author. The fact that the male protagonist was African American brought up so many interesting points of view, not just from him but from other characters in the novel and how they viewed his character. I don't know, it was just brilliant. I will talk about this more in my wrap-up. Once again, this haul is becoming a wrap-up video, but I highly recommend this book to everyone. I gave it 5 stars. Next up, I have a book that I picked up on a whim by Trish Dollar. This is In a Perfect World. This one really intrigued me. It says, a shining story about first love, impossible love, and the hope of forever love. I got goosebumps time and again. And this was blurbed by Huntley Fitzpatrick, who wrote My Life Next Door, which is one of my favorite young adult novels ever. This one is basically Caroline Keeley is excited to be spending her summer vacation working at the local amusement park with her best friend, exploring weird Ohio with her boyfriend, and attending soccer camp with the hope that she'll be her team's captain in the fall. But when Caroline's mother is hired to open an eye clinic in Cairo, Egypt, Caroline's plans are upended. Caroline is now expected to spend her summer and her senior year in a foreign country, away from her friends, her home, everything she's ever known. With this move, Caroline predicts she'll spend her time navigating crowded streets, eating unfamiliar food, and having terrible bouts of homesickness. But what she finds instead is a culture that surprises her, a city that astounds her, and a charming, unpredictable boy who challenges everything she thought she knew about life, love, and privilege. Oh my god. Now, I have read a book by Trish Dollar before. I can't remember the name of it, but it was so good. Where the Stars Still Shine. So good. I really like her writing, and I'm so excited to read a book that takes place in Egypt. Again, diversity, again, yes, I'm all for this. So I'm gonna probably read this fairly soon, definitely before the end of the summer. And last but not least in this haul is a sequel to a book that I absolutely loved, and this is Feathers by Rose Mannering, which is a sequel to Roses. Roses was a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and I wouldn't say it left off on a cliffhanger, but it was cliffhanger-ish. So this is supposed to be the sequel. For those of you who don't know, Rose Mannering is actually a booktuber here on BookTube. I will link her channel if you're interested. So I absolutely adored her book. It was probably one of my favorite reads of that year. I want to say I read it in 2015. So I'm really excited to have the sequel in my hands. I didn't even know she'd come out with the sequel, but when I was placing my Amazon book order, I just kind of saw it out of the corner of my eye because I do have it over there on my shelf, and I was like, I wonder if the sequel ever came out. And I looked, and here it is. So I'm super excited to read this. I can't wait to see what happens and where the story left off. I'm definitely very intrigued. This one has a male protagonist as the center of the story. The first one, Roses, like I said, is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and this one looks to be a retelling of what's that fairy tale with the swan? The Swan Prince? Swan Princess? I don't know, guys. I'll annotate it if my brain starts working. I tell you, you work 10-hour days and you just can't think anymore. But yes, I will definitely let you know how I feel about this. I will have to reread Roses though, because I read it so long ago. But I'm actually excited to reread it because I loved it so much the first time around. And there you have it, folks. 11 books, I believe. Yes, I've showed you all of them. So I'm super excited about all of my new purchases. I wanted to say acquirements, but I was like, I don't know if that's the right word. Super excited about all of these new babies to add to my collection. Thumbnail, right? I will catch you guys in my next video. I'll be putting up my June wrap up very soon, and I hope you guys are having a wonderful summer, day, night, wherever you are. Bye. Bye, guys. I'm gonna go now. Whoa. I mean, where am I going really? Not far.